Hi friends, welcome. My name is Baron and this is my channel where I talk about some book stuff. I'm the Book Baron. Welcome in. So, I know this is late, but this is my May TBR. I'm sorry that this is so delayed. I think I'm gonna have like maybe one more week where I only have one video and then we should be back to 2 videos a week. I'm really hoping. So bear with me, we're almost through it. Ooh, that was aggressive. I didn't mean to shout at you, I'm sorry. I have some travel coming up, so a lot of my TBR is going to be books that I can get on audio to make sure that I actually stick to my TBR this time, since I did such a bad job last month. And I may still have to mood read, so we'll see how much of this I can get to. But I'm really gonna try and do a better job than I did last month, because yikes, I didn't read a single book. Let's get into the books. Why am I pointing so much? First up, I want to mention our Tainted Love book club pick. So we will be reading Make Me Pretty by Marie Anne. Now, I've already read this. I was blessed enough to get it as an ARC. I'm really excited to talk to you all about it on our live show. It's going to be on May 22nd at 6 p.m. Pacific time. That'll be over on Nikki's channel. I have all the information in the community tab. It's on my Instagram, and then I'll try, hopefully, put all the details in a comment or in the description box below. What I'll say about this is it's an extremely toxic relationship between foster brothers that are just trying to survive high school. One of them is the captain of the basketball team, and he's sort of the golden boy, but he's got a lot of anger simmering under the surface. And on the other hand, we have our punk kid who's an antagonizer who's just trying to get under his skin constantly and just bring that rage to a boil. So it does leave off on a cliffhanger though, so just be warned. This is the first in a new series, but I hopefully will see you at the live show. Even if you haven't read it, come hang out, chat with all of us. I love chatting with you all during the live show and seeing your reactions and comments. Good, bad, otherwise, I want to hear it. So that is the first book that I wanted to mention, but I've already read it. So let's move on to books I haven't read yet. Well, I'm in the middle of this one, Cage of Ice and Echoes, and this is Pam Godwin's newest release. So this is published wide. I do have a vlog of the first book, which I absolutely loved, hence I'm continuing on to the second book. This is a dark romantic suspense. Why choose survival? So I don't spoil anything for this second book. The first book is about Frankie, and she ends up being abducted from her home. She is taken into the bush of Alaska. She's in the middle of nowhere, no access to anyone, and this is how she finds herself at the mercy of 4 rugged and very unsocialized men. So in order to escape, she's gonna have to get crafty. She's gonna have to learn their secrets and try and find out why she was even taken in the first place. And on top of all that, she does have to actually survive in the Alaskan bush. Pam is just like the queen of dark romance. Not only is she so good at crafting dark circumstances, but she also has these plots that are so intricate, so complicated, that it's just this perfect marriage for me, because it's not just the romance, there's other things going on top of it. What I'll say so far about this book, I like it better even than the first book. This feels a lot tighter. Definitely hooked. I've been absolutely devouring these books as they come out, and they're thick. And it's just been like the perfect remedy for me. Seriously, this mystery in this series has me hooked. I need to know answers. Like, I need them now. Also, does it make anyone else laugh that Pam saw the naming conventions for fantasy novels and she was like, I'm gonna use that, but for my really messed up book? All right, next up we have Older, and this is by Jennifer Hartman. This is on KU. It's a standalone. It's contemporary romance. It's age gap, taboo, best friends, dad. This is about Haley, and Haley has a pretty rough home life. She has an alcoholic and kind of absentee mother, and her father is extremely abusive. So one day when she's just trying to escape, get away from it all, she ends up going to a party, and it's there that she runs into a man named Reed. And they have this very interesting chemistry, this very interesting connection, but there's a little something in her way, and that is that there's a little bit of an age gap because he is her best friend's dad. I wanted to read this one because I've been a little bit hit and miss with Jennifer Hartman. I loved Still Beating, thought it was phenomenal. Red Lotus, thought it was okay. So I know that she has writing that works for me. And I think this premise, because it gives a little bit of Birthday Girl, I have a feeling this is going to be one of those books that triggers that, like, that nostalgic sensation when you're reading. I don't know if anyone else knows what I'm talking about, where you're just like, you're sucked in and there's like that feeling, like that vibe. I have a feeling this book is going to trigger that. So I'm hoping to read this while I am at a work conference, because I need something to distract me from the misery. And hopefully I have some amount of time to read. Oof, my hair looks terrible. I tried a new hair mousse and I had a hard time breaking the cast. It gives me a better curl pattern, but oof. All right, we don't care about that. Let's move on to the books. Next up, we have Victor, and this is by Theodora Taylor. This is published wide. It's the first in a series that I believe is interconnected, and it's a dark new adult romance. We have Victor. He's a bit of an enigma. He's dark, he's mysterious type, and our heroine has been tasked with tutoring him because he is the son of one of her dad's business associates. And she initially agreed to this because she thought she would be tutoring a child, and then come to find out it's someone her age instead. She's quite attracted to this person, and they end up starting to form some sort of a bond. When they start revealing secrets, there's some of Victor's that maybe she's not equipped to handle. So the synopsis is super vague, but this piqued my interest because Elizabeth Stevens, who is the author of Dark City Omega, mentioned this in a reel. And I can't remember what she was talking about, if it was like books that she thought were dark and messed up. I can't remember what exactly it was, but I remember her saying that this one was like really twisted or really dark or something along those lines. So I wanted to give it a go. I wanted to check it out. I love Elizabeth Stevens' work. I was like, let's give her recommendation a go. And then also this is on the shorter side, which is perfect because like I said, I have a work conference this month. And so that's going to impact my ability to really like sit down for long periods. So I'm going to need something that's a little bit snappier, like ideally something that I can consume during plane travel. Next up, I have A Little Unstable by Elle Mitchell. So this is a standalone on KU. It's a new adult romance that's got like a little bit of a whisper of like toxic bully feel to it. So we have Mila and Tristan, and they have been neighbors for some time. I don't think they have a little bit of a rough relationship. Like, I think that might be where the bullying's coming in, maybe? Question mark? Tristan finally moves away, and he's really excited because he can break free from his suffocating hometown. Same, I get it. And then Mila is excited because she's free of Tristan. However, fate has a different plan because they end up as lab partners in college. And now they got to figure out how to make that work. Reignite some old tension, some unresolved feelings that we got to get sorted out. As you may or may not be aware, Carved in Scars was our pick for, was that March or April, for Tainted Love Book Club. I adored that book. Not a perfect book, but one that had the right vibes for me. I think this one's gonna be a little bit less dark and less hard-hitting, but I did wanna just start digging into Elle Mitchell's backlist because I loved Carved in Scars so much that I was like, she's got to have something else in here that's another winner. This is where I'm starting my explorations. I'm also really excited about this because one of the things that I really liked about the execution of Carved in Scars was the use of dual timeline, because normally I hate that. I thought it was so well done. I'm hoping we're gonna get a repeat of that. All right, next up we have Undeniable, and this is by Madeline Sheehan. I hope that's correct. This is once again published wide, but the audio is available through my Audible subscription. So this is an age gap MC dark romance. Basically, our heroine, she's going to Rikers to visit Daddy Dearest, who's in there for assault and battery. He's also the president of an MC club in the area. This is where she ends up running into Deuce, who is also in prison with her dad. That in and of itself is pretty much a problem, but also Eva's 5 and Deuce is 23. So we've got a little bit of an age gap, just a tiny one. I got this recommendation from Annika from Annika Reads Books on Instagram. She was talking about this one and she said it was one of the most realistic versions of an MC that she had ever read, that it's not going to be for everyone because of that. And I was like, that actually sounds perfect for me. Sounds like it's going to be a lot more gritty, dark, rough, which is definitely something I'm looking for when I want dark romance. Once again, this is on the shorter side. Again, because I'm going to have a lot less time to read this month because of the conference, because of work travel, I am hoping to have a lot more like small bite-sized ones so that when I can sit down and read, I'm actually like getting a significant portion of the story. Also, fun fact for all of you, my husband's nickname for me is Deuce. When I read that that was his nickname in the synopsis, I was cracking up. I don't know how to feel about that. That's gonna be really weird. All right, next up we have Only for the Week, and this is by Natasha Bishop. This is on KU, it's a standalone, and it's a contemporary romance. Ax's best friend, I believe. We have Janelle, and she's going to be the maid of honor in her sister's upcoming wedding. The only problem is her sister is getting married to Janelle's ex. So that in and of itself actually isn't that much of a problem. Janelle thinks they're a great match. The problem is her sister is a massive bridezilla. The wedding party is going down a week early to relax and enjoy, and she is so excited to just get a break from all the wedding chaos. Unfortunately, her sister's bridezilla ways continue, and to figure out a way to relax, and the way she has found to relax is with the best man. But they've made an agreement. It's only for the week. I've been meaning to read this for a while. I feel like I see it everywhere. Like when people are like 15 books that define my taste, this one seems to be on a lot of people's. Really happy that I can finally get to it because my library had the audio for it. So I have it checked out. I definitely will be reading this one because I am stoked. I'm stoked. I love we're only hooking up for a little while type of story. Plus, I think this is going to bring some emotion. Hot and emotional? Perfect. Next up, we have Like the Woman That Feeds by Penelope Barsetti. This is the first in a series. It is on KU. It's like a vampire high fantasy captive. The premise is that in this kingdom, there is a sickness that is sweeping through and killing a lot of humans. And they've only found one person that is immune, and that is our heroine. And so she tends to a lot of the sick and dying in order to help ease their passing because there is no known cure. This also is impacting the vampires in the area because their food sources are dying off. One of the neighboring vampire kings comes to the very new human king and says, you need to provide me with a couple food sources so I don't have to hunt people in your kingdom. And they end up offering up her because they know for sure she cannot get sick because the sickness can pass to the vampires or something along those lines. Our heroine has to go live among the vampires. Someone recommended this to me like months ago. Like I think it was like November, December of last year. I'm gonna insert the person's name if I find it here. But I got so excited because I was like, okay, I need to find a lot of audiobooks because that's gonna be the primary way that we're reading this month. And my library had it on audio. So I have it checked out. I'm really excited because it's captive and vampires, but also make it high fantasy. I mean, I couldn't be happier. I've been trying to get back into fantasy for a hot minute here. Been a little bit of a struggle. A lot of times they sound interesting and then I just end up passing them up. Thank you to whoever recommended this. I'm hoping this is my gateway drug into high fantasy romance. Thank you. Next up is one from my priority reads for 2024, and it's Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. This is a paranormal new adult. It's the first in a series, and this just got republished. So the basic premise is Leon here, he is a demon, and he ends up getting summoned and is requested to kill a gal, and that gal is someone who makes YouTube videos, I think, on summoning demons, and realizes that maybe something dark is stalking her. Something to that effect. I don't need to know too much. It's Harley LaRue. I love the Losers Duet. I know I love her writing. I've just been so nervous to pick this book up, but I keep seeing it now that it's been republished, and so I'm like, now's the time. I gotta strike while the iron is hot. I gotta strike while I'm interested because I keep putting this off for spooky season, and I need to not because it's not working. I never pick it up. I need to just do it. This is also one I kind of said earlier with older that I'm looking for books that triggers that kind of like nostalgia feeling that you get sometimes when you're reading. I think this might be a book that does it. So that's another reason I want to try and get to this one. Next up, we have Whispers and Roars by Kay Webster, and this is a standalone that's published wide. I don't know a single thing about this book other than I know that the author writes dark, twisted, taboo stuff, and I think this one has some mental health things, but I have heard from multiple sources, including the author saying this is best read when you don't know anything about it. So I have intentionally not looked up anything. This will be my first foray into Kay Webster's books. So I guess we'll find out if I like her writing or not. This book seems to be pretty popular, although I don't really hear people talking about it. Whether or not that's because you're not supposed to know anything going in or because it's just an older book, I don't know, but it does have quite a few ratings, so I feel like the signs are pretty good here. And finally, my last one, Stolen by Wolves by Lix. I always want to say Lynx when I see his name. Lix Robinson? Likes Robinson? This was a recommendation I got from one of you all again. I think it was Kay. I think it was you. When I was talking about Fate Inked in Blood and how much I love like Norse, Viking, pagan stuff, she recommended this book. This is the first in a 6-book series. It's on KU. It's a historical Viking omegaverse. I don't know if it's fantasy or not. Basically, this is set in 870. Yes, you heard that correctly. 870. It's about the Viking invasion of Northumbria and Ireland. In this time, no land is safe. They are pillaging everywhere. Tamsin has, for the most part, lived very safely and securely within the confines of her kingdom. But as this Viking horde bears down on them, they need to rally allies, so they have to open their kingdom up. Or else she kind of fantasizes about what else is out there. Now we throw into the mix 3 lords of Dublin who are trying to hunt women of her kind. I'm assuming because this is Omegaverse that it's an Omega that they're hunting, but I don't know that for sure. One of them, this is sort of like personal vendetta / he's doing it for the glory more than for like the pillaging and goods. He's the one that ends up running into Tamsin, and they end up awakening an ancient magic, and it's said, it's prophesized that to harm women like Tamsin, is to anger the gods. So they now have to do a 180 and protect her. So I'm really excited about this. Like I said, when I read A Fate Ink and Blood, I just found that more of that Viking mythology just really refreshing because it's like a different spin on fantasy. And if I remember correctly, Kay said that this was really well researched. I think this was the one, she recommended 2 to me, and I think this was the one that she said was really well researched. If I got it wrong, correct me in the comments. But that is everything that I'm really hoping to get to in May. So let me know what's on your May TBR. Let me know if there's anything you recommend. If you've read any of these books, let me know what your thoughts are on them. We have 1 more week after this of 1 video a week, and then I'll be back to 2. Thanks for hanging in there, folks. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, subscribe if you want more content from me, and I really, really hope that I see you on my next video. Bye-bye!